MSBI, most of the people think that it is an reporting services. Most of them think that it is a business intelligence platform. So let me tell you what exactly MSBI is. This is, yes, it is a business intelligence. Yes, it is a reporting. Yes, it is an integration. So altogether, MSBI is a single platform wherein you would see SSIS, ETL work. ETL, what is ETL? ETL is the extract, transform and load. That means you are trying to integrate different systems. Let's say in real time you have data migration from one system to another system. Okay, most of the cases what happens is when there is a flow because of some business decision, let's say server is decommissioned and that should be commissioned with other servers. So in those cases what we do, the server which is going to be decommissioned, we migrate the whole data from that server to the new server. Okay, this is one simple scenario which you can face, or else you can also face a lot of different situations wherein you have to integrate different databases. For an example, you have to get the data from Oracle into the SQL server. You have to get the data from Sybase. You have to get the data from DB2. A lot of other databases. Not only databases, it also supports on any kind of file formats. For an example, you have Excel files, right? Most of the cases we as a MSBI developer will face Excel file looping and Excel sheet looping and getting those files loaded into SQL, and there is a very logical reason of doing that. All right, and apart from that, you will also see text files, .dat files. So different kind of sources. You are trying to pull the data and load it in somewhere. Okay, or vice versa. You are trying to extract the data from SQL or any of the database, and you are trying to send it to any of the flat files or any Excel sheets. It's quite similar to Informatica, Krishna, but when you compare Informatica with MSBI have lots of advantages on top of Informatica. I will tell you what are those advantages. Okay, so with that said, ETL, it is an ETL, it also have an ETL tool, and that tool is known as SSIS. SQL Server Integration Services. So that means it is SQL Server Integration Services. See, MSBI, when you buy SQL Server full stack license, when a company is trying to buy a SQL Server full stack license, this product, the whole MSBI suite is going to get included with this SQL Server. With that said, Subhashini, you are on a good phase of starting this course because you already know SQL and you would be able to understand most of the concepts whatever I go with in SSIS or RS or AS. Okay, with that said, it would be quite easier to you to digest things there, because most of the time, for a good MSBI developer, people also look for SQL skills. SQL skills are also very important in order to crack interview or in order to survive any company. So people who don't know SQL should not worry about how to basically look into these things, because in our course content we are going to also go through SQL classes as well, and these SQL classes are going to be from the basics, irrespective of the fact you're coming from 9 or 10 years of experience, maybe in the same technology, because I have a lot of other folks who are coming from, who even don't know select statements. So I'm going to go with the basic concepts of SQL and then the advanced concepts and then real-time scenarios and interview questions as well. And same is carried with all of the modules, whatever we see in MSBI course content. So as I've told you, this is an ETL tool and it's going to have SSIS module, and there is another module as well, reporting services. Okay, and in which Bindu is very much interested in. But it is not that, you know guys, it is not that a MSBI developer. So we have to understand it in this way. Whenever we say MSBI developer, there are basically 4 different modules which you would be covering in this training material. But then it is not important or necessary that you need to actually show experience in each and every module. So try and understand this, because this is where when you keep your resume, a fake resume or a real-time resume is filtered. So the kind of support in preparing your resumes will also be given in this after this training sessions. So all right, so let me say you what is reporting. Reporting, you know, most of the cases you might also have seen a lot of dashboards, interactive crystal reports, or you know, there are other tools in the market as well which has reportings. For an example, Tableau is there, ClickView is there, Cognos is there. Different tools are there. In MSBI, we also have a tool of reporting which is called SSRS, and from where we are going to start. SSRS SQL Server Reporting Services. So this SQL Server Reporting Services helps us to basically go ahead and develop the kind of report whatever business is looking at. So there are different type of reports, guys. There are interactive reports, there are cascading reports, drill through reports, drill down report, parameterized reports, chart reports, 3D reports. Different type of reports are there. And you know, there is a very good automation process as well. So we are going to deploy this report on the web server. Okay, on the web server, and that web server is the reporting server URL on which we are going to deploy the report, and from there itself we are going to automate the whole process. That means the report is automatically going and landing into the expected folder of your business. So we'll come to this as well when I start explaining you a real-time scenario of any company. You know, MSBI is a product heavily used because of it contains each and every module in it, you know, which can end-to-end provide a business intelligence. That means it can provide end-to-end solution for any business. So let me help you understand how does MSBI actually provides a business intelligence to the business. So before I go ahead and show you those things, let me also take into a consideration of analysis server. So what is analysis server? It may sound, you might have not heard about it. I mean, you might have heard about it, but then you don't have exact idea what exactly it is. So analysis server is also a part of MSBI, as these ETL and reporting server are part. You know, this helps in improvement of performance. So what do you mean by improvement of performance is, for an example, you are trying to extract some results from SQL server, okay, but then that SQL server is taking, let's say, 1 or 2 hours of time. So you do not have any option that you cannot, you cannot actually do more than that performance in SQL. So in these situations, SSAS will come in and help us improving the performance. Maybe it can also help us improving the performance just within 30 minutes of time. And I will show you a manual example how actually it is going to get executed, and I will also show you different type of techniques in SSAS which we are going to utilize. So with that said, guys, now, so what do we understand as a MSBI developer? It is the whole set of modules which is covered. That is why you see hell lot of opportunities in MSBI. So for any requirement you go with, okay, SQL is mandatory with MSBI. That is why you see most of the cases they ask SQL development as well. So that kind of development we are going to look into. All right. And another thing is I as a MSBI developer, do I need to have experience or do I need to show experience in each of these modules? No. You can even go with SQL plus SSIS. Let me tell you this one, SQL plus SSIS, and this is going to get you about 80% of the time people are asking this. Trust me. And this is in a very great demand when you just go ahead and Google. And according to Krishna, you know what is the advantage of MSBI on top of Informatica is Informatica does not have any reporting tool, its own reporting tool. It does not have its own database. It does not have any other analysis server tied up. It is an independent ETL tool. Because I did had a chance to look at Informatica and data stage as well. I did a project on data stage as well. So creating jobs in Informatica is same as you create packages in SSIS. So most of the time you are into administration. So maybe different type of administration steps you may be taken care of. When you see the development, these are all jobs in Informatica, which are rather are called as packages in SSIS. So this is the benefit of MSBI, that it contains database as well as ETL as well as reporting. So for a company, let's say I am a starting company, I want to implement some some intelligence for my business. So if I think of Informatica, I should also think of Cognos. I should also think of DB2. I should also think of Irwin to do data modeling. Right? So these many products, this is costing something, because these are independent products. This is costing something, this is costing something, this is costing something. So end of the day, business would also look at the kind of budget they are investing in. So that is why we also see most of the Informatica or most of the data stage or most of the SAP BOBJ or BODS projects are being migrated to SSIS. This is the major reason, because we just have to buy SQL and we are getting everything in SQL itself. Full stack license of SQL. Now, so this is how it takes an advantage over other technologies. You can see other technologies scope. Just go into Monster or go into Naukri and just check how many requirements are there actually with these skills. You will find many requirements. Now, there are other requirements as well for SSRS, and it is also about 70% of the time. All right. And people, since you guys are having experience, so I don't think that would be an hurdle for you to understand this technology, because at least you have IT background and you would be able to catch these things very easily, because our training modules are going to cover from the basics. It is not going to start from the advanced itself. First we will go with the basic concepts and then the advanced. And now you will see one more requirement called SQL SSIS plus SSRS. And this is also 80% of the time you see in the market. So what happens is this requirement is almost similar with this requirement. But what happened, at few of the cases they need some kind of SSRS development in the past, because of the reason that companies who are working with integration, they also deal with reporting in order to have something implemented there in their existing reports. All right. So that means, let's say new functionality need to be added in those reports. They are going to call you for this project and they're going to actually explain you what exactly they need. And for that, they are going to show you what is the report they have developed, and in that developed report, you have to do the implementation part. Okay. And this consists of scratch development. All right, of reports. and this also consists of scratch development. See, it is not necessary that you need to you think that it should be only scratch development. They can also give you an implementation project, not necessary that they should give you a scratch development. It happens in few cases that I get most of the time implementations as well as scratch development. So it depends company to company, individual to individual. Alright, now you have one more requirement called SQL plus SSAS. Now this requirement is asked about 30% of the time only. It is not heavily asked because you know, most of the cases SQL is enough for performance. SQL is enough for extracting the data and giving it to anyone developing the extracts. But very rare, you know, like big companies, very big, who needs the data very fast. Okay, so in those situations they see some kind of performance improvement tool. Okay, so with that said, these are the kind of opportunities you have with just MSBI. Alright, now let us understand how exactly MSBI is helping companies to basically provide the intelligence. So let me just open a notepad and explain you, you know, where exactly these tools can come in. Let me give you all the project of Heritage, which was you know, which was given to Heritage. Actually, Heritage is a retail company in US, like we have Reliance Smart here in India, same as the case Heritage in US. So overall US, these are all Heritage, let's say Heritage retail shops overall US. Okay, in each retail shop, let's say there are transactions being processed. Transaction in the sense customer is buying something, customer is going out. So that is one transaction. Each customer can have lot of transactions. Like for an example, Yusuf walked into Heritage, he have buy 10 products. Possible or not? Yes, possible. So let's say for example, each Heritage is having end of the day about 10,000 transactions. Possible or not? Quite possible, right? 10,000 transactions. Same is the case with other heritages as well. So overall US, how much of sales is happening? Let's say if there are 50 heritages, so let's, in just one day there are 5 lakhs products got sold. Right or not, guys? 5 lakhs product got sold. So now let's say these are all, you know, whoever is on the counter of Heritage, they don't understand any technical stuff, right? So for an example, they are entering it in one Excel sheet or one sheet. In that they are entering the whole information, right? Now after entering the whole information, now let's say business want to analyze that type A product, what was the sales overall, not in particular to state, but overall US for A product, what is the sales? So how complex it is? It is very complex to go and look into each and every file and calculate the sales amount, right or not? And all of a sudden he changed the requirement to C. You are in between. Again you have to come from back. Again you have to check for C. What was the C? And if you want to know what is the very less sales happened today, again you have to analyze things. Why he is checking all of these, guys? For an example, think of it in this way. I as a business owner, if I know that product A is not in a demand or not getting sold at all, I would stop buying product A and improve my business, right? Because product A is not in demand. If I understand these things, and let's say product A is very good demand in state this, instead of buying and storing it, whatever I have, I can migrate my product so that I can improve my business more. So these are simple situation. Analysis of your data is very important to any business. This is retail business. It can be oil and gas. It can be banking. It can be utilities. It can be supply chain. Any business you are into, data analysis is very important part in order to improve your business. It can be mobility also, customer retention policies, right? So now let me show you where actually we have helped this business to grow. So what we did, okay, so whenever you are ending your work, let's say a retail shopper is ending his work, the Excel sheet should be dumped into one shared location. We have given the location server name to them. Okay, and this is called an FTP server, file transfer protocol server. This is the actually shared location, and this FTP is connected inside our SSIS. Whenever we see the technical modules, I will show you in SSIS. We have one thing called FTP, which is used to connect the remote machines. All right. So let me just open one of the module of SSIS. There are different. This is the Visual Studio. I will come to whenever we are into the first class. I will show exactly how Visual Studio is helping us developing these 3 different platforms. It's taking some time. So here is the FTP task. It can be configured in our SSIS itself. Okay, which can get whatever files you have. So you have different options. We will see this in our classes. So here is the remote path. You have to give the server name, and it can loop into your local machine. So this is how this FTP, when we give them the access, they are going to load each and everything in this FTP folder. FTP shared server. Getting it? Now this FTP shared server is holding, let's say, all of the files. All right, let's say there are 50 files, though it is going to get landed 50 files. Now when this get landed all the files, what are we going to do is we are going to now extract these all files. There are a lot of things, guys. If you see this package, that package is describing the same information. I don't consider this as project though. This is just a real-time scenario which I show to my students. This is not a project. Project is very huge. Whenever I am going with the project, it would take me 2 to 3 hours of time, and it has one project on SSIS which is going to take at least 2 to 3 hours of time, because of the reason it is going to hold the real-time error handling framework which you need to develop as a MSBI developer. In any company, you have to go ahead and do that process. So this set of framework, how do you actually go and develop the error handling framework? And apart from that, how is the project set? What is the project actually I'm going to show? These are simple scenarios which can be configured and showed you, but there is a complex project in which you will get an understanding how actually images are loaded into SQL or embedded into SQL, and when exported, how it is going to export in a image format. And then we are maintaining the customer solutions in that as well, customer detail information as well. So different kind of scenarios are there, very good scenarios. Once you understand that project, I believe that any company you go in, you would be able to survive, because it contains a lot of logical understanding of conditions, expressions, a lot of things. We will talk about that later, not now. So for now, let us understand this scenario. How, with these scenarios, I just wanted to help you understand how this MSBI is coming in and providing the intelligence to the business. So let's say they have loaded in FTP location. Once they load it in FTP location, what are we going ahead doing? We are actually extracting the files from FTP and loading into our SQL server. All right, extracting the files and loading in our SQL server. Getting it, guys? Now there is a reason behind loading this in SQL server. Why? What is the reason? The reason is, once you load the data into your SQL, now you query the records, whatever the requirement is, you will get the requirement within 1 or 2 minutes. If data is huge, then that is the different case. But whatever the questions and the requirement you come up, you cannot do the analysis on different files, and security wise it is very dangerous to have file system security, right? Wherein in case of SQL it is the RDBMS, where data is stored in tables and it is binded with each and every table. In the case of data modeling, that is a functional understanding we need to have. In our classes we will also go through what are these steps of data modeling. We don't do that. There are different data modelers or data architects, we call them as. So those guys are actually involved in doing data modeling. That means doing normalization process from a denormalized stage to normalized. What is denormalized, normalized? We'll see these type of concepts in our SQL classes. But for now, just understand this is a structured querying language wherein you have values stored in table, or you can call it as rows and columns, which is two-dimensional database, which is two-dimensional. Once you query, once you write a select statement, it is going to pull all of the records and give you the data within span of times. And security wise it is very much secure. You can provide credentials to log in. There are different type of login credentials, and there are different type of user accesses. You can provide which user to get access, which user not to get access. Security wise very good, extraction wise very good. That is all what we need. Okay, now I have the data according to the business requirement. Business is asking what is in great demand, what is it not demand, what is in average demand. I have all the values in my SQL. Is this the way you show to the user? Is this the way your project manager wants to look into it? No, boss. For this, what we do is, on top of SQL, we are now going to configure the reporting services. We are now going to configure the reporting services. Therein where SSRS. And one more thing, guys, this looping and loading is done with SSIS. And this, once it gets loaded in SQL, the type of representation you can do, you can use a tool called SSRS for that. Getting it? So you can go with SSRS. Now this tool will help you to develop different chart reports. Okay, there are different chart. One of it is this normal chart in which you have, let's say for an example, here are the sales amounts of each and every every product, and here are the product wise sales amount or state wise sales amount. Let's say what is the state wise sales amount happening. Okay, for an example, this is somewhere here, this is somewhere here, this is average. One sales amount is very less, so whatever sales amount is very less, I can color in it in red color, so that once the business looks into this report, he understand, oh, here it is the red mark, so that means something is going wrong with this state sales. So what business wants to do is they want to look into detail of the sales amount. If they just click on this, it is going to get navigated to a detailed report of the products which are not in sales. So this is called interaction between the report to report, which is called drill through report in SSRS. Same is the case, we have many reports, drill down reports. Here we can also configure drill down reports. So there are a lot of flexibilities what we can provide to the business so that they understand their data which is residing in SQL server more clearly and more interactive manner. So this is a report which you have developed. After developing this report, you're going to schedule this report. Business is not going to go ahead into reporting services and check the report. They want shared location. So each and every time what is happening is, each and every time you are basically going ahead and configuring all of these reports into the shared location. So that shared location is now going to have all of the reports whatever you generate, and this is being scheduled. This scheduling, snapshotting, different options and different administration work also in reporting services we will look in our classes. Snapshotting, scheduling, subscriptions, lot of different things, deployment, processing, everything automatically, guys. It is one-time job what you are going to do, and this is all automated, scratch from extraction of files to reporting of files. Now some cases, very big companies, what do they think is, okay boss, whenever I'm trying to extract the report data for these reports, I'm not getting it on time. Let's say it is taking 1 hour of time, so I'm not getting the data on time. For that, what we will do, if these are the cases happening, sometimes it happens, big companies needs the data very fast. So what do? We push the SQL data which we think that it is used in reporting into SSAS server. People are confused that cubes we are pushing. No, it is pushed into SSAS server, guys. Server where data is going to reside. Now, in which format data is going to reside? That is called cube format. Format of the SSAS server data storage. Likewise, we have this table, right? It is in table format. Same is the case when you talk about SSAS server. This is in cube format. So how to develop a cube? That is going to be in SSAS. We are going to see that development of cube in SSAS. Once we develop the cube, we deploy it on SSAS server. And now once it is deployed it on the SSAS server, instead of going with SQL configuration, this reporting is now going to point from SSAS to SSRS in order to generate the report, which will hence decrease the performance. Maybe it just take 30 minutes or maybe 10 minutes also. It depends on the kind of SSAS cube you develop. Now, since it is triggering the SSAS cube, it is getting the results in very small time, or very faster execution is happening, and you are able to send the reports on time. Now let us understand why actually SSAS improve the performance, which cannot be done in SQL server. Let me just give you a manual and a simple example for now. See guys, this is, let's say this is SQL and this is SSAS. SQL, let's say, let us understand manual example. This is a water tank and this is water warehouse. Let us understand in that way. Water is getting loaded into water warehouse and it is taking about 1 hour of time. Okay, let's say this is SQL. Same is the case carried out with SSAS as well. It is going ahead and taking 1 hour of time if this is the technique used in SSAS. So what we can do in SSAS, we can add, let's say for an example, one more pipe to that water tank, one more pipe. Now what do you think? Will it take 1 hour if I'm adding these many pipes to same water tank which is getting loaded the water into water warehouse? No, it might take 20 minutes because we are basically partitioning the data or water in different pipes at one go, or this is called parallelism or partitioning technique in SSAS. So this is how, I can explain you manually why SSAS and what type of techniques we have. This is just one simple technique. You have a lot of other techniques like perspectives, partitions, you have aggregations, performance tuning steps and techniques in SSAS which can be looked into in coming classes. But for now, just to make you understand, this is how it is. We can improve we can add lot of techniques which can improve the performance. So this is what all about SSAS, SQL Server, SSIS and SSRS. So as I have told you, as I have told you that this is the percentage of ask in the market. You can just go ahead and Google it. And with each of the module, we are going to go with, if it is SSIS, then we are going to go start with basics, advanced, and real time. SSRS is also same. SSAS is also same. Now in SSIS, I am going to give you a real time project, and this real time project is going to have the framework as well. Error handling framework. So now this framework is very important to understand, because whenever you go into a company, once you develop your situation, there should be a set of framework which you followed in your last company. So you should not get blank when they ask you this. And there will be a real-time project of image, and give me 1 second. So there will be a real-time project of image and capture. How are we going to maintain the customer's information? How are we going to maintain the customer information and their images as well, and provide the solution to the business whenever they need? We are going to just configure it, and it is going to get automated. So this is all about MSBI, and this is therein where MSBI comes in and help us. So any questions for now, guys? Let me just walk you through the course content. See, in SQL Server, we are going to actually look in these many things in details. Okay. After that, and we also have module of SSIS. So the SSIS module is going to get covered all of these topics. So, and then a real-time project. So if you see, there is a real-time project as well. And in SSRS, we are going to see all of these modules, all of these topics in SSRS as well, right? And then when we come to SSAS, in SSAS also we are going to look all of this module. And there is one MDX also, we are going to look into it. So very interesting topics are there with MSBI. So this is all about my course content and our MSBI demo. Any questions, guys? Please feel free to ask me any questions if you have. And our classes are going to be interactive classes, because I want students confirmation, because I wanted to know what percentage they have grabbed the information, and because there will be assignments as well. So it is going to be a very interesting thing. You know, assignments will help you to improve the kind of expertise you should carry in this MSBI course.